Capricorn Clark. She was a former employee of Combs who testified that the music mogul kidnapped and threatened her during her time working for him. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
To New York now, where a former assistant of Sean Diddy Combs takes the stand in his trafficking trial. Capricorn Clark tells the jury Combs repeatedly threatened her life. She also testifies Combs wanted to kill rapper Kid Cudi over his relationship with Cassie Ventura.
Diddy's former assistant Capricorn Clark just revealed she received death threats, was kidnapped, and witnessed brutal beatings that will leave you speechless. What's good, court watchers? Your girl is here with breaking coverage of Day 10 of Diddy's federal trial. And honey, Capricorn Clark just served up the tea that's about to change everything. We're talking about death threats, gun-wielding kidnapping, brutal beatings of Cassie, and revelations about IV drips that connect directly to those Freakoff allegations. Before we dive into this absolute chaos, smash that like button because this testimony is historic. First, let's talk about who Capricorn Clark is, because this woman has seen it all. Clark worked for Sean Combs at Bad Boy Records from 2004 to 2020. That's 16 years of witnessing his behavior up close. But here's what makes her testimony so powerful. She wasn't just Diddy's assistant. From 2016 to 2018, she also served as Cassie Ventura's creative director. This woman had front row seats to the most toxic relationship in entertainment history. Clark earned $55,000 a year, working literally 24/7. From 7 a.m. to 4 a.m., according to her testimony. She handled everything from research to dry cleaning, hotel setups to drug procurement. This woman knows where the bodies are buried.
Diddy's assistant was also there for the ride, but she was forced to go with them. Now, she called Kid Cudi from inside of the car, letting him know that she was pretty much kidnapped. So let's find out a little more about Capricorn Clark. Now, Clark isn't just some random name being thrown around. She was actually a well-known figure in Diddy's camp for years.
The stress was so intense that Clark testified she suffered from alopecia, literally losing her hair from the constant pressure of working for Diddy. That's not just a demanding boss, that's psychological torture. But what Clark revealed today in federal court will haunt your nightmares. We're talking about a pattern of violence, control, and criminal behavior that spans decades. Clark testified that Diddy banged on her apartment door one morning, visibly furious with his pants split at the crotch, pacing back and forth with a firearm in his hand. And here's the quote that's going to haunt Diddy forever. Clark says he told her, "Get dressed. We're going to go unalive Miss Cudi." The gun was in his hand when he said this.
Basically, she's saying that she was kidnapped by the diddler when he found out that Cassie was cheating on him with Kid Cudi. She had gotten Cassie a burner phone, and Diddy basically goes to her house, says, "Get in the car, you're coming with me to go unalive Kid Cudi."
Showed up to her apartment early in the morning with a gun and kidnapped her, forced her to go with him to break into Kid Cudi's home, and then she said that she stayed back in the car and she called Cassie and warned her what was going on. She also says that later that morning she returned to Sean Combs' house after he had her go and get Cassie and bring her to him. She says that that's when she witnessed.
Clark testified that she had no choice but to go with Diddy because she felt she could be hurt if she refused. This wasn't a request. This was armed kidnapping of his own employee. They drove to Kid Cudi's house where Diddy broke in while Clark sat in the car. She testified that Diddy had the gun visible throughout the entire incident and accessed Kid Cudi's property illegally. But here's where it gets crazy. Clark managed to call Cassie from the car to warn her that Diddy was there to kill Kid Cudi. She could hear Kid Cudi on speakerphone asking, "He's in my house?" When they left the house, Diddy spotted Kid Cudi driving in the opposite direction and actually chased him in the vehicle until police sirens forced him to stop at a club on Sunset Boulevard.
Can't keep your head down. Plus, pretend ish is cool no more. Do better.
And to keep everyone quiet, Diddy told Clark that if police found out about the break-in, they would all be hurt. This is witness intimidation and obstruction of justice. Clark broke down crying on the witness stand as she described watching Diddy brutally beat Cassie. She testified that Diddy, wearing only a robe and underwear, came at Cassie 100% full force according to Clark's testimony, Diddy repeatedly kicked Cassie while she crouched into a fetal position, crying quietly as he kicked her in the back over and over again. Cassie was only a few feet away from Clark during this attack. When Clark considered intervening, Diddy told her that if she tried to help Cassie, he would attack her next. And get this, none of Diddy's security team stepped in to stop the beating. Clark was so horrified that she called Cassie's mother, telling Regina Ventura, "He's beating the S out of your daughter. I'm in over my head. Please help her. I can't call the police, but you can." This wasn't just domestic violence. This was psychological torture designed to control and terrorize. Clark testified that she felt like Cassie's protector because no one else would step in. This testimony directly supports the federal charges because it shows Diddy using violence and intimidation to control his victims and witnesses.
When Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs.
I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
Now let's talk about what Clark revealed about setting up hotel rooms for Diddy's alleged freak-offs, and this connects directly to the federal indictment.
Freak-off parties, yeah, where there would just be like a bacchanalian orgy, essentially. And politicians went to those parties, celebrities went to those parties, sports stars went to those parties.
And I'd like to... It felt a little... I'm sorry. Yeah, you liked it? Yeah, I felt an affection. I didn't feel comfortable enough to...
Bitch out. You know the dance step. Who know the dance step? Who know the dance step? Come on.
Clark testified that part of her job was setting up hotel rooms with specific supplies, drugs like ecstasy, baby oil, a small camera, and IV drips for both Diddy and Cassie. Here's the smoking gun. Clark testified that Diddy required IV drips containing something similar to serotonin supplements to help them recover from drug use. This directly matches the federal allegations about freak-offs requiring medical intervention. Clark also testified about witnessing Diddy force Cassie to obediently move on command in front of other women, making her sit, stand, and turn around while saying, "You don't want to do that, and that's why you don't have a man." Clark admitted that Diddy sometimes asked her to obtain drugs on his behalf, including asking her to get cocaine while they were in France in 2006, and prescription drugs in her own name. But the abuse wasn't limited to Cassie. Clark herself was subjected to what can only be described as workplace torture when jewelry went missing. Clark testified that when 3 pieces of high-end jewelry disappeared, she was brought to an unknown office building where a heavy-set man told her she had to take a lie detector test or he would throw her into the East River. This wasn't a one-time thing. Clark was locked in this office for approximately 40 hours over 5 days, taking polygraph tests from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily until Diddy finally cleared her. She testified that she was told she wasn't free to leave until she passed the test. This is unlawful imprisonment, people. You can't hold someone against their will for lie detector tests. And this wasn't unique to Clark. Former assistant George Kaplan also testified last week that he was ordered to take lie detector tests on 2 separate occasions during his employment. Throughout her testimony, Clark revealed a pattern of death threats and violence that shows Diddy's true character. Clark testified that while walking through Central Park, Diddy calmly threatened to kill her when he learned she had once worked for Suge Knight. When asked if she took this threat seriously, she said very serious. When Diddy fired Clark in 2012 over the Kid Cudi situation, he told her she would never work again and that he would make her unalive herself. He also said, "I should unalive you," is when questioning her about Cassie's relationship. Clark also testified about a 2006 incident in Miami where Diddy physically shoved her while screaming, "If you hate it here, get the out of my house." She called this crossing her boundary. This testimony shows that Diddy used violence, threats, and intimidation to control everyone around him, not just romantic partners, but employees and business associates. Clark's testimony also connected to the alleged arson of Kid Cudi's car, which prosecutors say was retaliation for his relationship with Cassie. When Los Angeles Fire Department investigators called Clark about the car fire in summer 2012, she admitted she hung up on them and never called back, saying she didn't want to have anything to do with this any longer. This shows how Diddy's threats were effective in silencing witnesses and obstructing justice. Clark was too scared to cooperate with official investigations. This testimony supports the racketeering charges because it shows Diddy using his business resources and employees to commit crimes and intimidate witnesses. Throughout her testimony, Clark repeatedly broke down in tears, showing the lasting trauma from years of abuse and intimidation. Clark cried when describing her complicated relationship with both Diddy and Cassie, saying she felt like she was Cassie's protector, but also acknowledging that she learned a lot from Diddy professionally. When defense attorneys showed emails where Clark asked for Diddy's forgiveness and wanted to work for him again, she explained, "He holds all the power as it relates to me. I just want to work and provide for my son." Capricorn Clark's testimony was absolutely devastating for Diddy's defense. She provided first-hand accounts of violence, criminal threats, drug procurement, and witness intimidation. The government now has testimony connecting Diddy to armed kidnapping, breaking and entering, brutal domestic violence, drug trafficking, unlawful imprisonment, witness intimidation, and obstruction of justice. Clark was a credible witness who admitted when she couldn't remember details and acknowledged her complicated feelings about her former boss. Her emotional testimony felt genuine and unrehearsed. What did you think of Capricorn Clark's testimony? Do you believe her accounts of Diddy's violent behavior? Drop your thoughts in the comments, but remember, these are real survivors we're discussing. If you want to stay updated on every shocking development in this trial, smash that subscribe button and hit notifications because we're covering every single day until there's a verdict.